So we have to recognize these patients, okay? So anybody who's sending referrals to you, you need to recognize them. Patients will be more likely to refer to you if they know that you noticed. So one of the things that I recommend is whenever somebody is referred to your practice, so when somebody calls in and you ask how they've heard about you, and they say, oh, Joe Smith from my work referred you to me or referred you as his dentist, one of the things I always suggest you say is, oh my gosh, we love Joe. He's one of our favorite patients. Now, you may not know who Joe is. Maybe Joe hasn't been in the office for the last 5 years. Who knows, right? But anybody who's referring to your practice is one of your favorite patients, right? Don't we love patients who refer to us? So I always want to make sure that I recognize the referral when they tell us how they were referred. And my hope is that that patient now, the new patient, will go back to Joe who referred them and say, did you know you're one of their favorite patients, which is going to help Joe realize that we recognize him and hopefully go out and tell other patients about us or other people about us. The next thing is you do have to check your state law when it comes to what you can send for thank yous. I know there's a whole bunch of back and forth of what you're allowed to send, if you can send a thank you for a referral or not. One of the things that I've heard a lot of offices do that I really like is not to send thank yous necessarily for referrals, because I believe in a lot of states that's not actually legal, but you can send a thank you for being one of our best patients. And what do one of our best patients do, or what do our best patients do? They refer. So that's one of the ways to potentially get around it, or to be able to at least recognize the patients without breaking any laws. And then one of the things I'd say we want to do for sure is in the morning huddle, you want to review if somebody's coming in that sent a referral since the last time they were in. The whole team should know that. We should thank that patient. We should recognize that patient. If the patients realize that or they feel like we care and that we know that they're referring, they're going to go out and refer more. If they don't hear anything from us, they're going to think we didn't really appreciate it, they didn't really care, or that we didn't care, and they're going to refer less. So I know that every office is different. Some offices are, one person and you're doing everything. And some of us have, 5 people up front. But one of the things I would suggest is assign a person to be in charge to track the referrals and follow up. And it doesn't need to take, a long time. You can pull a report out of your software, make sure that as patients are coming in, you're entering how the patient found the practice, and then pull a report at the end of the month and do something special, even if it's just a phone call, or a handwritten note to say, thank you, we really appreciate it. Just to make sure you're doing something, because if you don't, the well's going to dry up. Basically, they're going to stop referring. So you want to make sure that somebody's paying attention to that. The next is you have to practice asking for a referral. Not everyone on your team is good at asking. There are all different personality types on your team, as you guys know. Some are more extroverted like me, and some are more introverted. And so not everybody necessarily is comfortable asking for referrals or reviews. But it's really important that we do. So we need to make sure that we're practicing. And there's 2 reasons for that. One is for those that aren't comfortable asking, if we practice in a safe environment with our team, we get more comfortable by practicing. It's easier to do it when we're with a patient. And secondly, we need to do it because we get busy and systems fall out. I mean, think of some things that you guys have thought about doing in the past, trying to sell Sonicare or talking to patients about whitening. And then we just get busy. We have a lot to do every day. So we need to sit down. I do this once a year with my team, and we just go over practicing asking for referrals and reviews. We talk about the importance of them. We need to make sure that we're keeping the systems in and that everybody on the team is comfortable doing it. One of the things that I suggest with my team, and we train on this, is that the best time to ask for a referral or a review is when the patient gives you a compliment, whether it's a compliment for one person or a compliment to your team. So for example, let's say the patient's, in the back and mentions to the doctor, by the way, I really love Rebecca. She is an amazing hygienist. I have never had a hygienist as good as Rebecca. That's a perfect time for asking for a review or a referral. So you know what, Miss, we're happy that you're happy with Rebecca. She's an amazing hygienist. If you wouldn't mind going out and doing a review for us and maybe mentioning Rebecca, I know she would really appreciate it. Something that asks the patients now to take that compliment and do something with it. Or let's say the patient says, I love your office. Every time I come here, everyone is so friendly. that's a great time to say something like, well, we're glad. We want to make sure that we keep our patients happy. And in return, if you would do us a favor, if you happen to know any family or friends that would like a dental office like this, would you mind please sending them our way? But it has to happen naturally. And that means everybody on your team has to practice, including the doctor, making sure that when that compliment comes, we turn that into a referral or review, because it's going to be a lot more effective and a lot less awkward than if you just say it randomly in the middle of a conversation. It's a lot easier to turn a compliment into something where you ask for them to do something for you. And then I'll show you in a minute other things we have in our office, but have reminders around. Like I said, we get busy. We get focused on, everything else we have to do, collecting bills and talking to them about arresting and everything we do. We need to have reminders around to remind us and our patients to please go out and tell other people about us. So, to go out and send referrals our way, or to go out and write a review about us. We need to have things around the office. Now, be careful how much you have around the office. Dental offices can get quite cluttered, so we don't necessarily want that. But make sure you have something strategically placed that's going to remind your team to talk to the patient about getting a referral or review. This is an example of what I have in my office. These were just 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that I went and took to the local print shop, and they put it on one of those corkboard, I don't know what they're called, corkboard things with a stand with the easel. And we have them placed around the office at different checkout desks. So that way it just reminds us, and it reminds the patient to review us or to go on the internet and talk about us. So have something around that's going to remind you and the patient to do that.